from German schools abroad and is currently studying in Germany. Eva, age 23 from Egypt, is studying in Munich. Max, age 22 from the US, is in Berlin. The 20-year-old Vietnamese student Tuyen is studying in Mannheim. Carlos, 20 from Brazil, is studying in Karlsruhe. Veronica, age 26 from Slovakia, is in Saarbrücken. And the 24-year-old Turkish student Bila is studying in Berlin. All 6 students have chosen to study in Germany. Attends the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering at the Technical University of Munich. Having graduated from the German school in Kassel, Hegel wished to study in Germany because of its excellent reputation in the engineering sciences. Not only are research and teaching closely linked at the Technical University of Munich, the course is also interdisciplinary and praxis-oriented.
Das ist das schwerste Teil des Studiums, das ist meine sehr gute Unterstützung weil wir sind kleine Gruppen und
As part of the course, Hegel participates in fascinating research projects. At the innovative BMW Research Center, she is working on optimizing the aerodynamic design of future generations of automobiles. Excellence at a fascinating location. From the German school in Washington, Germany to study history at the University of Berlin. Is rich in history. It was the city's first university, founded in 1810. Today it is a place where innovation and tradition meet. Is also located in a historic setting, an 18th century Baroque castle. This is where Tuyen Ham Minh from Vietnam is studying business management at one of the most renowned faculties for the discipline in Europe. Innovative research, a strongly praxis-oriented approach, and consistent quality management repeatedly have kept the university at the top of international rankings. also have very personal reasons for wanting to study in Germany.
Ich habe mich irgendwie in das Land verliebt, ich wollte unbedingt Sprache lernen, Kultur kennenlernen. Und deshalb bin ich auf der deutschen Schule gegangen und da hat sich das irgendwie natürlich herausgestellt, dass ich dann mehr in meinem
In order to prepare students for the challenges of working life, there is a strong practical focus and key importance is attached to research too.
We conduct basic analytical research regarding small and medium-sized enterprises. The students profit from our knowledge in a way that we convey our messages also in the lectures, in the seminars, and that we share with them our insights into the small and medium-sized enterprise sector.
Research also plays an important role at the University of Karlsruhe. This is where Carlos from Brazil studies mechanical engineering. 2 years ago, the university was awarded with the Initiative for Excellence for founding the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, or KIT for short. KIT is a unique synergy of a large-scale research facility and a dynamic state university.
Wichtig hat beim Universität für die Forschung betrieben. Das ist für uns Studenten natürlich sehr interessant, gerade in solchen Bereichen, wie wir schon haben, wo Praktisches sehr wichtig ist. Denn dadurch mit dieser Forschung wir erstmal direkt sehen, was da passiert und mitarbeiten.
This enables the University of Karlsruhe to combine research and teaching to an extremely high degree.
Studenten nach Einführung kommen, wollen auch aus dem Ausland eine sehr frühe Integration in Forschungsprojekte erwarten, eine sehr enge Kontakt auch mit den weiteren Forschern der KIT und kommt in den KIT, was in einer aufgestiegenen, einer sehr dynamischen Entwicklung im Moment sich befindet, wovon auch der Student garantiert mitgebracht und mitgerissen wurde.
From Slovakia chose a university at the heart of Europe. After passing her first state examination in law at Saarland University, the 26-year-old began a postgraduate degree in European integration. At the Europa Institute, she studied the historic, economic, political, and legal basis of the EU. Veronica is able to witness the fascinating process of European integration firsthand during her course. Since it is situated at a point where the borders of Germany, France, and Luxembourg meet, the university maintains close relations with the institutions of the European Union.
We are getting teachers from European institutions, from Strasbourg, from Brussels, from Luxembourg, and we are taking it in a very wonderful way for that respect. So we have the connection with the European institutions, and we can also go to the students there so that they get to know how that looks like in Brussels.
Medical treatment, research, and instruction at the highest level. These are the principles of Europe's largest university clinic, the Berlin Charité. The 24-year-old Bino from Turkey is one of about 7,500 medical students studying at the Charité campus, a facility which is shared by the Free University and the Humboldt University. Having graduated from a German school in Istanbul, Bieber is highly impressed by the technical and academic standards in Germany.
Die Vorteile sind erstmal die Möglichkeiten, die einem angeboten werden.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to our morning symposium. My name is Felix Spence. I work with the DAAP as a program officer. And today we will be listening to the director of the DAAP Innovation Center here in Accra, in the presence of the person of Mrs. Lina Loima. And then we also have the head of the visa section of the German embassy in the person of Mrs. Yasine Vortan. And we will soon be joined by Mrs. Eva Asante, who is responsible for the head of the language center here at the Goethe Institute. And later on, we will also be joined by Mrs. Abina Akonsabio from the Center for International Migration. And she also has something short about reintegrating back from Germany when you're done with your studies. And so we have a full program. Can I just run through the program? So we'll be having a study and research presentation in about 50 minutes to almost an hour. And then we also have an overview of the student visa application process by the head of the visa section. And then Mrs. Eva Asante will come in somewhere around 10 minutes after 11 for the German language requirement for studies. And then we'll have a question and answer round. So you can hang on with your questions and maybe note them down somewhere. And when we come to the question and answer round, you ask all your questions on study, on visa, on language requirements. We will be ending with a short presentation from the Center for International Migration. And then after, if you have still other questions, you are welcome to ask, and then you can network with our resources who are taking time off their busy schedule to be here with us. So thank you very much, and we hope that you have all your questions answered, and we hope you are comfortable wherever you are. We also have a water dispenser over there at the registration stand. If you are looking for the ladies or the gents, we have one here. You can manage to pass through and go to that side. We also have one when you go to the reception area. So thank you very much, and you're welcome. So I think we will just start with our first presentation on study and research in Germany. And this will be done by Mrs. Naloy.
Guten Morgen. Good morning. You all speak German already, right? Yeah. That was fast. My name is Lena. I work for the German Academic Exchange Service here at our information center in Accra. First of all, two things I would like to point out first. If you have any questions, not today, but any time from today. Today you're here to get all your recent questions answered, but if later on you get into a point where you have more questions, please, you're always free to come and visit us and ask those questions. But I would advise you to book an appointment through our appointment system so you can come for a consultation and people really have time for you to sit down. So if possible, don't just come knock on the doors, but make a proper appointment and then sit down with us for consultation. The second thing is just a word up front, because we have a lot of people coming to us asking us, okay, I want to study biochemistry. Where should I go in Germany? The answer will always be, I have no idea. Because we are not like experts in all subject areas. We are experts in getting you to Germany. We are experts in the framework of how to study in Germany, how to do research. We can give you all the information on our scholarship opportunities. If you want to go along that path, please be prepared to do a little bit of research for yourself. Because you know which subject area you are in, you know your own research topics, you know where you want to go, what is your focus, and based on that, you will have to do a little bit of your own research as well. That's just a word up front. I hope you're all comfortable. I think you're already you have understood the German system. You have come at 10 German time. We are starting at 10 German time. You will realize in the next half hour there will be more people will be coming in their own time, Ghana time, a little bit too late. And you will realize that in the end when we're asking questions, those will be the ones who will ask the most questions. Because they weren't here in the first place and we were answering those questions. Okay, so I will start with my presentation. You know what they say about Germans is that we are efficient, right? So if I'm speaking too fast, please raise your hand, even when I'm in the middle of my sentence, and let me know. I'm prepared to slow down, but sometimes I forget, okay? I want to make sure you understand everything I'm saying very well. Okay, I will give you a little bit of information on Germany and why it would be a good destination for study. Then I will talk about the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service. I don't know, I guess most of you are not familiar with us so much. Then the biggest part of the presentation will be about studying in Germany, how to get into universities, how to find the right course for yourself, and so on. And the last point will be scholarship offers. Those will be the scholarship offers that we, the DAAD, offer, and I will focus on those that are very relevant for Ghana, because like those that have the most applicants and most granted scholarships in this country, but I'll also point you in the direction of more starting points for research, mainly on the internet for you, if you are interested beyond that. So, first of all, I meet quite a few people in Ghana who tell me, for example, if I'm driving in an Uber, and the driver will be, oh, Germany is my favorite country. Then I ask them why. He said, oh, Bayern Munich. Right? So he knows they play good soccer. What else? He says BMW, Mercedes. Alright? So I get the impression sometimes that there's a little bit of information that's quite a lot of investment into research and development, not just from the state side, but also from the industry side, that makes Germany a popular destination for researchers from all over the world as well. So if you want to study in Germany, there's a broad variety of subjects. And the point is, I meet a lot of people who are asking me, so if I want to go to Germany to study, do I have to learn German? Do I have to do my DSH-Prüfung, like a kind of language exam? And there's this, I would say it's like a rumor that circulates that in order to go to Germany, you have to be fluent, perfect in German, on like a B2 level. That's not the case, because there's actually quite a lot of study programs that are conducted either entirely or partly in English. If you are interested in finding out which programs there will be, I will give you links later, but also keep in mind that this lady over there and this gentleman, Christian and Dorothy, they will also have flyers for you that contain the most important links for you to continue your research of those things. The second thing is, well, Germany is renowned for research and teaching at their universities, even though the system is a little bit different. I'll get back to that later. The costs of living are, I'd say, moderate for Europe. They're pretty much in the middle. But the biggest point is always the tuition fees. Most German universities have very, very small or no tuition fees. So that's maybe the most important part. I know that for you, maybe, or for a lot of Ghanaians, it seems to be more attractive to go to a country where English is the main language spoken in the country, because maybe it might be a bit intimidating to be going to a country that has a different language. But I would say consider the fact that if you look at the UK or the US and the tuition fees that you have to take to get into their universities, you might want to reconsider Germany, even if it means having to learn a little bit of German to order your bread at the bakery in the morning. First-class services for international students, it means every German university has an international office. I mean, that would be a given, I think. But they're also very supportive in helping their international students arrive and get comfortable in the country and at the university. One thing I have to say though, if you compare it to universities that are, a large number of German universities are state funded, there's no tuition fees, so the way that you will be supported by the international office, for example, might have a little bit less hand-holding included. So you might have to find your own way a little bit more than you would have to in a study program that has very, very high tuition fees in a private university, for example, in the US or the UK. Life beyond campus. Of course, when you are going to Germany to study, we mainly expect you to be focused on your studying and working hard to get to the point where you get the degree that you've been studying for and do your research. I still want to point out that in Germany is also quite a bit of fun to be had in your private life. So I just compiled a few facts about German life beyond campus. So in Germany you find a large number of public and research libraries. Most of them are actually for free for you as students, so if you like books, you can indulge in that. There is also a lot of other cultural facilities, a lot of public theaters, museums, and so on. Here it's also the case that as students you will get at least a very good discount. So I think if you are there as students, you can really profit from a lot of facilities that will make your life more fun. The DAD. Some people call us dad, as if we are their father. I think it comes from us giving them money, so they consider us their father when they get their funding for their everyday life. In fact, DAAD or DAAD stands for Deutscher Akademischer Austauschdienst, so it's the German version of German Academic Exchange Service. There's three main areas that the DAAD works in. The first one is the one that you might be aware of, which is scholarships. So individual scholarships for people from all over the world. If you look at the numbers, there's actually 100,000 German international students that are being funded by the DAAD every year. So this is not just for Ghana, this is for people from all over the world and also for Germans going abroad to any country in the world. There's a lot of different programs, scholarship programs that the DAAD funds. The second area is university corporations. And I'm mentioning this now because all of you are not just students for yourself, you're also part of the system. So after you've maybe done your master's degree, then maybe you do your PhD, for some of that you might have a scholarship from the DAAD, then you come back and you think, okay, how can I integrate this experience that I have now into my work at the university, for example? And this is where the university corporation comes in, because the DAAD funds a lot of different corporations between universities here, in this case in Ghana, and in Germany. And funding, for example, to set up a curriculum together, to start a new study program together, to have exchange between two institutes. And it's something that both sides can really profit from. It's like partnerships on eye level that both sides can profit from. And I'm telling you this now, because maybe even at this point it's not relevant, but maybe some point later in your career you might be a dean, right? Or you might be a head of department. And you're thinking, oh, maybe what can we do to push our department a bit further? Then think about the DAAD. Think about how maybe you could partner up with the university, your university back in Germany where you did your PhD, and get back to us and ask us about funding options for partnerships as well. Sorry. I like to say it like that. Someone said it like that the other day. He was like, if you are going to Germany with a scholarship and you're coming back, you're becoming a button to push. So you would be available for your fellow students, for other researchers, when they come to you and they ask you, so I'm looking for a connection to Germany. I'm trying to find a supervisor for PhD in Germany. You could be that button to push to get the connection going. Because this is always, or a lot of times this is the hardest part. If you are at the point where you are looking, for example, for a PhD supervisor in Germany, you will realize that it is very hard sometimes to make the first step, to make the first connection to the matching person in Germany when you do not have that connection before. So it's always good to kind of be able to use or exploit connections that already exist. I'm just wanting to point this out. So this is the second area, is the cooperation, the funding for university corporations. And the third one is the distribution of knowledge. So for example, what I'm doing here today, the DAAD has a network of international offices, of country offices and regional offices. This information center here in Accra is one of them. So that's the third thing that we do, is we inform students or potential students and researchers all over the world about opportunities to study, do research in Germany together with Germans and so on. Yes, that may be on top. The DAAD is a non-profit, is a not-for-profit organization. Although most of our funding comes from different German ministries or maybe the EU, we are still independent from that in a way. The DAAD is the Association of German Universities. So it's like if you imagine all Ghanaian universities have an association that they together sort of are responsible for, this would be the DAAD in Germany. Like I said, the German higher education landscape is quite diverse. I think if you look at Ghana, it's actually pretty similar, but I'm still going to explain it quickly. So you have universities, this is the same as here, and quite a large number of the universities that have a very good reputation are actually the large state-funded, like public universities. The second category would be technical universities. As I guess all of you are aware, the way that Ghanaian polytechnics have been converted or in the process of being converted into technical universities was actually modeled on the German model of technical universities. I will go back into that a little bit in the next slide. No, it's okay, we can do it now. So the technical universities have more of a focus on practical aspects, not so much on the theoretical research. The focus is more on the practical aspects of research, and they normally have very close ties to the public sector, so to industry and so on. That's very typical for German technical universities. So if you look at it that way, and also that might be important for you when you are selecting a university for yourself. A technical university is not like a university, just not as good. It just has a very different focus. In Germany, if you look at a lot of technical universities, for example, the lecturers would be expected to have some kind of background in the industry, like actual work experience and not just a research background, not just an academic background, to bring into their teaching and to the research on an everyday basis. The main subject areas, or very typical subject areas for technical universities would be engineering, business administration, and so on. The third one would be University of Applied Sciences that have even more of a focus on the practical aspects. It's kind of like these three different steps of going from theoretical research to very practical work related aspects, going from universities, technical universities to universities of applied sciences. The fourth is arts and music colleges. They're normally private. I think I'll leave it at that, unless if you have special interest in arts or music, you can also talk to us and book a consultation. It's a bit of a special subject. So if you look at degree programs, you have a pretty similar system to Ghana, actually. The bachelor programs are very often a bit shorter, a year shorter. So, this is very hard to read. I'm going to read it all out to you. So at the bottom you have bachelor's degree programs for 3 to 4 years. Actually, very often they're only 3 years. Then on top of that, you have the master's degree programs for 1 to 2 years. I'll actually point it out to you. So bachelor's degree programs, master's degree programs, and this is the PhD. And on this side, you have the universities of applied sciences that don't have the PhD. On the university side, you have the PhD as well. I hope it makes sense. I think I have to change the color of the slide for next time when we are presenting outside. This is the rule. This whole system was changed in Germany a few years ago. Actually, a couple of years ago, they changed to the bachelor and master system. Before that, it was a different system. When I was studying, I was still studying a so-called magister, which would go for like 6 years. There's no break in between. There's no undergraduate, postgraduate. It's just one big thing until you sort of get to your targets, and it's very long. So they changed the system to this a few years ago. This is the rule. There are certain exceptions. For example, in medicine and in law, the German system still kind of sticks to an older degree system. So if you're interested in medicine or in law, also please come and talk to us, because it could be a bit different from the regular bachelor-master program. Maybe to get an overview now, how many of you are interested in undergraduate studies? Okay. How many are interested in postgraduate studies, so master level? Okay. How many of you are interested in PhD? Okay, so we have a mix. Anyone who's like a postdoc level already has a PhD? Okay, good. Then I know what we need to focus on. In general, there's programs for all different levels that are conducted either entirely in English or partly in English, like I said. And the most important link to find those programs would be www.daad.de/international-program. If you can't see it, if you can't hear me, you can get one of those blue flyers over there that contain the most important links, and that link as well. I think at the very top it says international programs. This would be your starting point. So if you're thinking of studying in Germany and you are considering a program, you should start at this point and look at the different English language programs for yourself, unless you are fluent in German at this point in time. Is anyone fluent in German at this point in time? Raise your hand, please, if you speak German. No. Okay, no German. I have a hunch there's something funny. Okay. So the admission requirements for undergraduates. The bad news is that for the bachelor's degree, there is no direct entry into the German universities with a WASI school leaving certificate. So in Germany, that's actually the case for most African countries in Germany, that you don't have direct entry into the German system. That is based on the fact that German school used to be a year longer. So most of the times, from the experience, it's not on the same level when you go into the university at bachelor level. So in Germany, you have to do 2 semesters of a preparatory course before you can enter into the bachelor program with your Ghanaian WASI or A-level certificate. It's called Studienkolleg, and after the 1 year, you have to do like it's kind of like an aptitude test before you can go into your bachelor's degree program. The other option is, if you have already studied in Ghana for 1 year, you can also, in this similar subject area, you can also use that and apply that 1 year of bachelor's to go into the bachelor program in Germany. If you are interested in doing this, in coming to Germany at the bachelor level, I always recommend you get in touch with us, you book an appointment to come pass by and ask your questions, because it's a bit tricky. There's different ways to do it, and you need to make sure that, for example, if you want to go into a bachelor program, you want to make sure that you are not wasting your time doing 1 year here, and then maybe it's the subject area that there's a batch or something. So it's always good to talk to us or my team. For postgraduate studies, that's actually pretty easy to get into the German system. If you have a bachelor's degree from Ghana, you can directly enter into the master's degree in Germany if it's in a relevant subject area. You need to keep in mind though, and I'll go back to admission requirements a little bit later, but for now, you need to keep in mind that universities, it used to be very strict and clear in Germany. There was like a central place where you apply for studying, and then this place decides where you are going, you just get your placement, and that's how it is. These days, universities have much more freedom in selecting their own students. So that means in one university, they might require you to write the test US, which is like a kind of test that you can do it's like an aptitude test. In other universities, they will maybe ask you for some kind of, because they have a focus on students that have work experience, so they want you to provide some kind of work experience. Other universities might really just be focused purely on merits, so you only look at your grades. But I want to make sure that when you are looking for a study program, also look for that. Look out for what they are looking for. If they are looking for you too, that's a good match, right? And you have a very good chance of being accepted, getting admission, and maybe finding a source of funding as well. So, like I said, for postgraduate degrees, a bachelor's degree would be sufficient. Although there might be additional requirements on the university side, with the H&D qualification, there is no direct entry to a university master's degree program. That's because the H&D is kind of more focused on the practical, like work-relatedly. But there is direct entry to a first degree program at the University of Applied Sciences in some cases. So if you have an H&D and you're wondering if maybe one of the universities of applied sciences might take you in, you should also get in touch with us and we can help you find out. I already know what you're interested in, so I try to focus on those things a little bit more. I think masters and PhD will be the main subject, the main areas, the main levels that we're looking at. So scholarships for Ghana. In 2017, 569 Ghanaians and 142 Germans were funded by the DAAD. That's in a whole lot of different programs. There's not like one DAAD scholarship. This is how it works. If you look at it for the first time, there's a website, or we have a website called Funding Guide, so www.funding-guide.de. You can also find that on the flyer. This is like the entry point to find out about scholarships. But if you go to the database, you might look at it and think, that's a lot of options. You can narrow it down by the subject area, you can narrow it down by the level, like the degree level, but it will still be quite a lot sometimes. So I also suggest that you have a look, I will talk about it now, but also if you get to a point maybe later in time, you're like, what did you say again? The easiest way is to go to our website. So if you just Google DAAD Ghana, you will find our website. And we have kind of compiled the most relevant degree programs for Ghanaians, because those are the ones that we talk about most in our consultations, and giving you like an overview of that on our website. So please always check the website as well. We have I would say a beautiful new website that we relaunched last year. So if you have a look there, you should also find all the information you need. So to talk about scholarships, and I will say that first, because otherwise the question is going to come later and people will be disappointed. The DAAD does not fund bachelor degree scholarships. That is for certain reasons, having to do, for example, with brain drain or trying to avoid brain drain and these things. I personally think we should fund bachelor programs because there's quite a gap between school and masters. But unfortunately, I personally don't make the scholarship rules. So at this point in time, I have to tell you up front, there's no bachelor degree funding from the DAAD side. There is still scholarships for bachelor degrees. In general, they're not that, there's not so many of them all over the world, actually. If you do some research on study or scholarship opportunities for bachelor's degrees, it's not so many. You can still have a look at the website that I mentioned, the Funding Guide website, because this is not just the programs from the DAAD, it's also programs from other German organizations, foundations, and so on. So I go straight into master's programs instead. This is just an overview. I'll go into more details from now on. So you see master's programs, it's more limited than the PhD and postdoctoral programs. That has to be said in general. The further up you move in the system, the more opportunities are there, because it kind of thins out, narrows down. So for the master's programs, and I go straight into it, start with EPOS, the development-related postgraduate courses. This is one of the programs that has the highest number of scholarship holders from Ghana, so we always kind of talk about it first. It's scholarships for professionals from the Global South for specific courses. So the way the master's scholarships work, it will not be like, oh, I have been admitted to University of Oldenburg, for example. Now can I get a scholarship? That's not how it works. For the EPOS, but also for the Hammerschmidt program that I will introduce later, and they are the main master's programs for Ghana, it works through the universities. So the universities have applied with the DAAD, they have been selected as receiving institutions for those scholarships. And all the scholarship topics, or all the topics of the programs are, in this case, in the case of EPOS, are kind of development related. So they have been selected based on that. So if you want to be funded through this scholarship program, you will have to go through the university. So you can either go to our website or have a look at our brochure over here for the study programs that are funded through the EPOS program, and then you select one of those, and you apply directly with that university for the program that you want to do. Am I making sense? Okay, good. So the universities, and this is important, they also have different deadlines because they have different procedures of picking their own scholarship holders. Some of them might be doing interviews via Skype. Some of them might just be doing paper selections. And it might have different deadlines. So if you want to make sure you are getting the chance to apply for one of the EPOS scholarships, make sure you check out the website of the university that you can reach through our page and the list of funded programs. The requirements are a relevant bachelor's degree of second upper or above. So if you're still doing your bachelor's, try harder, get that second upper. Relevant professional experience of at least 2 years. The national service counts as professional experience, especially if it's in an area that is relevant to your field. The most recent academic degree should not be older than 6 years by the time of application. You don't have an age limit. You could be 40, but your last degree was only 4 years ago, then you can still apply. And I think this makes sense, especially if you look, for example, at women who are having children and then it gets to a point where they, okay, maybe now I want to advance my career so they can move on from there. The applications are sent directly to the university, like I said before. I put the direct link here, so you can copy it from there. The other option is you go through our website, or you can even just Google DAAD EPOS, whatever you prefer. The second master program that a lot of Ghanaians are accepted for is the so-called Helmut Schmidt program. It used to be called Public Policy and Good Governance. This is actually what the content is. They changed it to the name of a former German president. Now it's very hard to pronounce for everyone that is not German. I don't think that was the intention, but that's how it works. So the Helmut Schmidt program is similar to the EPOS program in the structure, but it has a different focus. Training in public policy and good governance for the subject areas of politics, law, economics, administration. So it has a little bit more focus on that side. The requirements are similar, though. You need a relevant bachelor's degree of second upper or above. You need the most recent academic degree should not be older than 6 years. You need very good knowledge of English or German, depending on the course. Most courses are in English, actually, and there's very few that are in German. And well, here it says convincing description of the subject-related personal motivation and expected benefit. That is true for any of the scholarships. If you are applying, make sure that your application is convincing, that it makes sense, that you have a coherent motivation, and it should be kind of, how can I say, it should be kind of personal. No one wants to hear you talk about copying the Wikipedia article on the University of Oldenburg and stating how great that university is. The people who are working there, they know their university. They might even know it's not as great as Wikipedia says, okay? So you want to focus more on what you want to get out of it, what you can use the experience for, what you can give back maybe also to your own country when you're coming back. And this is what you should focus on. Don't do too much talking about the other things, not too much flattering. You know Germans, straight to the point, but a lot of content. The deadline for the PhD program or the Helmut Schmidt program is high. So when you're interested, when you come from one of those subject areas and you're interested in one of those scholarships, this would be a good starting point for you to compile your documents, make up your mind about which university to apply for, and so on. The direct link is also down here, but the same is true here. Even if you just Google Helmut Schmidt program DAAD, you will find the link to the call online directly. The third area are the in-country and region scholarships. This is a specific program for Sub-Saharan Africa. It might be relevant, for example, for someone who wants to either stay in their own country, maybe to be close to family or whatever, or also move to another country in sub-Saharan Africa. The idea behind it was to kind of create hubs within Africa where regional or like researchers, students from the region are working together on certain subject areas, certain topics that are relevant for the region. So there is funding, for example, for scholarships. There is on all levels actually. So master's degree level, PhD level, and the selected research centers. This is kind of provisional because at this point in time, the new call for the selection of receiving institutions has been sent out, so it would change in the next few months. But at this point in time, the receiving institutions, the selected research centers in Ghana are ISA at the University of Ghana, Institute of Statistical, Social, and Economic Research, Department of Soil Science, APIS, the African Regional Postgraduate Program in Insect Science, also at UOG, Department of Planning at KNUST, and the West African Center for Crop Improvement. These are the ones in Ghana. At the same time, you might want to look into those centers that are not in Ghana but in other countries in Africa. Some of them have very high level of research, and from our experience, it's also a very tight-knit community of alumni that really can keep the research network going after they have been funding through this program. For this, the best way to find the different in-country and region scholarships is going to the funding guide website, and then typing in region as a search term. Because all of those centers have their kind of, it looks like it's their own scholarship program. It wasn't me who made that system, but this is how it works. Sorry, I have to get water. Okay, I hope this will get my voice to the end. Like I said before, on PhD level, you have quite a lot of different options to choose from. The competition is not as hard as it is on master level. So I will point out to you the different schemes for PhDs in Germany, and then I will point out to you the different scholarship programs. The first scheme would be a regular PhD. In Germany, that means, I think it's pretty similar to Ghana actually, you have an individual supervisor. In German we say Dr. Vater or Dr. Mutter. It's like your doctoral father or doctoral mother who is kind of guiding you through the process of obtaining your PhD, writing your PhD thesis, doing your research, and so on. So that would be the normal, the regular PhD in Germany. For that, as I kind of hinted at before, the hurdle lies with finding that supervisor. Because as the term mother or father says, they are committing quite a lot of energy and time to supervising you. If you are interested in doing your PhD, there's maybe a few advices I'm giving you up front to find a supervisor. The first one is always to, when you're writing an email, for example, be very precise, be polite. Do the proper form. This is not a WhatsApp message. It's an email that is supposed to change your life, right? So make sure you don't go like, hi prof, I'm looking for, right? So it should be the professor, blah, blah, you find out the name, you sort of addressing the person directly. And from my experience, is you need to think, we have people coming there like, I have sent emails to 30 professors, no reply. You need to think about these professors as people who are sitting in the offices and they're receiving hundreds of emails. So they just kind of scroll through it. So if you want to interest them in you as a candidate, you should make sure that you grab them by their own interest. So for example, if you find out, okay, there's this prof at this university in Germany, you can find out, for example, by reading the magazines, like scientific articles in one of the magazines in your subject area, and you find this professor who's doing research on the same subject area that you are interested in doing your research in. And be like, okay. And you try to grab him by the interest. You be like, Prof, I see you are doing research on this topic. I want to do my thesis on a topic that's very close to it, but it can add this aspect to it from the perspective of someone from Ghana, for example. So this would be maybe used by the interest. The other advice would be to, like I said, push the buttons. So find out it. I think we have, like right now, Germany, exploit those connections. You can, like this that knows your professor in Ghana, knows another prof in Germany that is in the right subject area and the right position to be your PhD supervisor. So all of you looking for PhDs, very busy, but they're also very interested in anything that could add a research aspect to their own work. I hope this is clear. The second option is the structured PhD program. So I was not speaking about the doctor, father, mother kind of concept. There's another scheme which is structured from find your own supervisor. But making it in can also be pretty hard because the supervised PhD are very interested in having you, but that really brings up chances of securing a scholarship. And it's really not as competitive as this right. So when you have your master's, try to supervise for PhD programs. Yeah, because there's a good chance that you will get it. But right now, basically the same. The only requirement Fridays 2:30 to 6:30 and Thursdays 9 to probably that cold. So just so you know.
Okay, so I'm here today to give you an overview about the student visa application process. Because once you have gained that admission into German university, you will want to know on how you can actually also get that student visa that you will need to travel to Germany to take up your studies. So I'll tell you about pretty much everything I'm telling you today is also available on the website of German Embassy. So we have a detailed checklist. Everything is pretty much on that website, which is www.accra.diplo.de/visa. So feel free to take notes, but if you didn't catch something, you can also reread it on our website. Okay, so let's start. Imagine you have gained admission into the German appointment system from our website. So you will have to go to the website, find an appointment that works for you, and then book it. Keep in mind that appointments can only be booked to gain admission. Most likely, hundreds of other students will also enter to university. So all of a sudden, there's a really high demand for appointments, and it might happen, as it happened last year during the summer. We had more students who wanted to apply for a visa than we actually had appointment slots. So once you have your admission letter, make sure that you book your appointment as fast as possible to actually get an appointment because the demand is just so high. And it might also take you a few weeks to actually be able to submit your application to the embassy, and then your university deadline might be coming up. So just ensure that once you have your admission letter, go to the website, book your appointments, so you have more than enough time to get everything going so that you can actually make it to Germany in time to take up your studies. The embassy is currently reviewing the appointment categories. As like I just mentioned, last year we had a really high demand for student visa appointments, and we just could not accept all those applications because it's not just the student visa applications that we process. We also have the Schengen visa applications for visitors, business, for tourism. We also have researchers. We have family reunion. We have employment visa applications that have to be processed. So, especially during the summer months, the embassy is fully booked. So, you need to make sure that you book an appointment in the right category, because if you book your appointment in the training visa category, but you actually want to apply for a student visa, we cannot accept your application because the time slots are there for a reason. So right now we are reviewing the categories, and the plan is that as of May 2019, we want to offer 2 appointment categories. Category A would be for students who have a DAAD scholarship, for example, or an Erasmus Plus scholarship, for prospective master's students who have a bachelor's degree with first class honors, for PhD students, for researchers, but also for students who successfully participated in the test AS that Lena also just mentioned. This test AS is an aptitude test for foreign students which records intellectual abilities. And if you successfully participate, which would be of 100 or more, you would qualify to book an appointment in that category. It might enable you to book that prioritized appointment so that you can actually meet your university deadline. So this is online until the end of March, and the results will come in around May. So then about that time, we'll also have those new categories up and running. So once you receive your results and if they're positive, then you could book this prioritized appointment. So like I said, book an appointment as early as possible so that you also have sufficient time to get your documents in order, that you allow the embassy sufficient time for processing. As we in general say, it will take 8 weeks to process your student visa application. So when you come for your interview, you will submit your application, but the visa officer might not have time to on the same day actually assess your application. So it might take a week to fully assess the application, a week to fully assess the application. The visa documents will also have to be forwarded to the Aliens Authority in Germany, which takes more time. So keep that in mind. Allow enough time so that you don't miss your university deadline just because you submitted your application too late. And all the student too late. And all the student visa applications have to be forwarded to the scholarship holders, so the processing time for those is 4 working days. Okay, so you book your appointment, you come for the interview, you submit your application. It is the student's responsibility to ensure that the documents are complete. We have a really detailed checklist. We just redid it in November 2018, and it is really meant as a checklist. You can take the box. The checklist, the application forms that you will have to fill out. The checklist mentions that you need to submit all documents in original with 2 complete sets of photocopies. Why do we need 2 sets of photocopies? One set will stay with the embassy. The second set will have to be sent to the Aliens Authority. So ensure that when you gather your documents, that the copies are legible, that it makes sense. Because when you come for that interview, you will be interviewed by local staff from the embassy. Those employees will not actually take a decision on your application, but they will forward your documents to the competent visa officer. So the visa officer will actually not talk to you in general. It can happen, but in general, the visa officer will not personally see you. So you want to be prepared. The visa officer only sees the paperwork that you present, and he or she will see what you said during the interview. So keep that in mind. Be prepared. Know what you want to say. Don't come unprepared. If the visa officer or the local staff starts asking questions about your study program, and you cannot give an answer, it does not really leave a very good impression. So keep that in mind. When you submit your application, the visa officer will then have to assess your application. The enabling foreign students to further their academic career is one of the priorities of the German government, but it is always within the framework of the rules and regulations. So for students, it is the German Residence Act that the visa officer will have to use when assessing a student application. So one of the things, he or she will sponsor your stay. You might be sponsored by a parent, by an uncle. If this person lives here in Ghana, he or she should also accompany you to the interview to state why he or she wants to finance you. Because as a minimum amount, the German government says that you as a student have to have 720 euros per month available to you. So that is 640 euros, which at the moment is 51,000 Ghana cedi. It is a lot of money for 1 year. That is just the minimum. So especially in the beginning, you might need additional money for winter clothes, to furnish your first apartment, for the flights that comes at first. So the visa officer will come in years. That's why you can just once a month you'll be able to withdraw the 720 which you will need to cover your expenses in Germany for rent, food. Where you study, you might need a little bit more, but also need a little bit less, but this is the amount that the German government has set. So another thing that the visa officer will look for is your purpose of stay. So you have the admission letter to the university, but is it also plausible that you are going to study in Germany, or do you want to do something else? So you have documentation to prove that indeed you are going to study in Germany and you will study there successfully. So we will also have a look at your BCE and WASI certificates, at your grades, if you've done a bachelor's degree already. You'll have to submit your bachelor's certificate along with the transcripts, so we can have an idea on whether or not you really intend to study in Germany. You'll also be asked to provide a motivational letter talking about why you want to study in Germany, or why this specific program, what drives you, what moves you. I will also have a look at the interview, where you performed, where you came from, your thesis that you might have to write. So all these small things that give an impression on your willingness to study in Germany. This is all important for the visa officer. The visa officer will also have a look at your academic biography. What did you study in the past? What did you do in the past? Did you maybe work in a related field? Does the master's that you intend to study, does it match your bachelor's degree? And if not, why? Can you explain that? Is there a reason? Any previous qualifications, maybe from the national service, or higher national diploma, it doesn't have to be a space. So Germans are very strict when it comes to identity. What is your name, when you were born, where were you born? Here you'll be mixed up. So let's take your birth certificate. Is it an old document? Does it match your BCE, your WASI? The spelling's the same. Does the birth dates match up? Because a lot of times your WASI mentions a different date of birth than your BCE, and then in your birth certificate there might even be another thing mentioned. Your identity has to be established. If there are different spellings with regards to your name, it could be. I mean, there are different spellings for Kojo, but you should then present additional documents to explain those differences, because the visa officer wants to make sure that these really are your documents and that this is really your identity, as this is one of the all those things, he or she will have to take a decision on your application. If the visa officer comes to the conclusion that your application meets all the requirements, your application will then be forwarded, but then also via post. So the second set of copies, that's what's going to be sent to the aliens authority then, so they also know what kind of documents you presented. The aliens authority will have to give their approval to your visa application. And once this application is sent off, the aliens authority has 23 days to work on your application. So that means until this period lapses, the visa officer here in Accra cannot take a decision on your application, at least not a positive one. So that's why I said, keep in mind, apply early enough. If you come 1 week before your university is going to start, the best option will be you come 2 months time, you allow visa officers sufficient time to check all the documents. And once this 23 period is over, the aliens authority will either have approved your application or they will have denied it. But if they approve it, usually at the same time will be asked to open the block account, block bank account, done so already. So while this 23-day period is running, you have enough time to open that bank account, provide the additional proof to the embassy. And once the final approval has been received, then the visa officer can also take the decision on your application. So you will be asked to also submit travel health insurance and a flight reservation. So the visa officer will, you might want to travel in 2 days, but your admission might only be in 2 weeks, so that the dates add up. And then you will receive your visa usually with a validity of 3 to 6 months, depending on what the aliens authority is, the competent aliens authority, to allow you enough time to get settled first, to make an appointment with the aliens authority, depending on where you want to study. The aliens authorities might be swamped, it might be hard to get an appointment. For example, in Munich or Berlin, if you go to a really small city, most likely they'll have appointments available in a really short time, because you do not want to overstay your visa. That's why we have 3 to 6 months. And then once you've received the residence permit, you're good to go, have fun studying, be successful, study hard. If the visa officer look at your application, however, comes to the conclusion that your application does not meet all the requirements, because you might not have submitted certain documents, or you might not be able to provide sufficient proof that you have enough funds to study, or that you really want to study.
If there are good reasons for putting and now sort of wanting to go back, they have been considered in the past. So it depends a little bit on the specific case. I would suggest that you come to consultation and discuss the case with us. I know of cases in the past, for example, mothers with children that were pointing out that in like an additional letter, like a statement pointing out that they have been raising their kids and only now they can go on with their studies. It has been accepted as a reason, and they have been accepted as scholarship holders. So it depends. I think you would have to make statements and state your point and why the 6 years have passed already, and they will have to look into a specific case. I suggest if you are in that position, you come for a consultation with us or call us or send us a message and discuss the specific case. In general, the rules stand, yes.
Thank you. My name is also the first presenter. You also said that for the bachelor application, WAEC certificate is not accepted, right? What if somebody is having IB certificate from Ghana, the Ghanaian school? How will that be considered?
What kind of certificate? Is it the IB?
IB, yes.
International Baccalaureate?
Yes.
Okay. I think in this case it would be direct access to the university. But I would suggest there is a database where you can check all these things. It's called, unfortunately it's in German. one more, then we go for Efra.
Hello, it's Mondo. Please, with regards to the finance, what is it in the case if your studies is a 2-hour studies, whereby your company will pay you because you're having the theory aspect and you're having the practical aspect? And obviously, the company is going to give you some money. I want to know if you still need some finances, like you need some, as she said, the requirements. And also to, can a sibling not in Ghana sponsor you? Well, my brother is in the US and he is willing to sponsor me for my studies in Germany. So I want to know if he can sponsor my education.
I will answer the first question quickly and then pass on. So you mean you have applied for your studies and you have received admission already? So
Yes.
The question is, in addition to that, apply for funding through the DAD, sort of like a top-up. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is it in masters?
No, it's a bachelor.
Okay. There's no funding for bachelors. So in this case, the question from the DAD side, there's no funding programs for bachelor's degrees. Like I said in the presentation, might have missed it. So in this case, no. But that's not because it's a dual study program, but because it's a bachelor program. In the master's programs, I also don't think your question would apply because like I said, the master's programs are only for specific study programs. And I think none of those are in dual programs, right, Felix? So I think the answer to your question is no. Not because we don't sponsor it, but because it doesn't match the funding opportunities you have don't really match the program you're talking about, I guess.
No, actually what I mean is I applied to the university university, and they are going to procedure when they assess your documents and find out that you are eligible to study in their university. You then have to find a partner company where you have a practical training with. And the partner company has to give you some kind of stipend to make your living in Germany a little bit smoother. So I was asking if they give you that finance, because you have to sign a contract with them, and the contract will state the amount of money they will give you and all. So what I want to know is that, can you use that contract and the amount in the contract as the finance aspect?
That's the question to the visa section.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Well, if you are going to work in Germany, you can of course use that money. But so far we haven't really seen students who will also work at the same time. So usually we only have the full-time admissions. But if you have a university that is going to have you study part-time and you also have a company where we're going to do the dual program, and of course that money could be used. So we would forward that information to the Aliens Authority, have them have a look and ask them whether or not this would be okay for them. Because they will be the ones who will then have to extend your residence permit. If they come to the conclusion that something might be missing, then they would refuse the extension of your residence permit. So we assess the application, but then it was also forwarded to the Aliens Authority. If it's something that we're not familiar with, we would ask the Aliens Authority at the place where you would work and study. So, because they would be the ones who do the final residence permit. So, yeah, it can be done.
The second question is whether the brother from US and sponsor.
So you can also have sponsors who live abroad, of course, sponsor you, but then we would still want the bank statements, the sponsorship letters, the passport to see does the signature match. But of course, that can also be done. Yeah, this person doesn't necessarily have to live here in Ghana or Sierra Leone or Liberia, where we are also responsible for processing these applications.
So maybe you can hang on with your questions, please. Let Mrs. Eva speak, and then after we continue with the question and answer. We had to just push it in, so she will not talk about it.
Guten Morgen. Oh, that is nice. I didn't expect anybody to answer in German. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, my name is Eva Asante. I'm working as the head of the language department of the institute here, of the Goethe Institute. And first of all, I'd like to thank Lena Leumer, the head of the DALD Information Center, who invited me to speak today about our work here, because, yeah, we like to have you in our courses because you normally learn so well. Okay. First, I would like to talk about our work of the Goethe Institute here in Ghana. We are the Cultural Institute of Germany, and we have two aims or two tasks. First, we are working in the field of cultural cooperation, and secondly, our work has a lot to do with language, with the German language. And I think both is very interesting to you. Yes. You would like to go to Germany and study. Most of you would like to study in English, I think, because to study in a foreign language is really twice as difficult. But still, you want to go and study in Germany where people speak German, isn't it? And you don't want to study only, you want to also live there at least for a couple of years. And please don't expect everybody to speak English in Germany. Most people do, yes, okay, especially the younger generation. But amongst themselves, they speak German. And then you stand there and you don't understand a word. You wouldn't feel comfortable. Yeah. So when I came to Ghana 10 years ago, I decided to learn some tree in Germany, which is very difficult to learn over there because there are no tree classes, as you can imagine. There's no tree institute. But still, I learned something. Yes, okay, I tried to continue learning in Ghana, which was a bit easier, but still I gave up. The reason is that there are so many other languages apart from Twi in Ghana, and everybody likes to speak English. In Germany, it's not the case. Germans like to speak German. Only a few like to speak English. They have to better their English and so on, but most of them speak English. Okay, so why am I telling you all of this? Because I want you to learn German here in our institute. At least get the basics. It is in your interest. When you go to Germany and you have never been to Europe or the US before, you will definitely feel just a little bit lost because everything is different. I felt very much lost when I arrived here. And maybe you will also experience this kind of feeling. Yes, and when you can understand what is written there, and maybe you can say Guten Tag to somebody, you would feel a little bit better. Okay, and therefore we have a lot of nice courses for you here at the Institute. For people who have stayed in school for a long time, like you must have done, we have morning classes. We have classes from 8 a.m. to 10:15, and then from 10:30 to 12:45. That means the class wouldn't really take too much time of your day. You can either go and study or work or do something else. And our courses last 10 weeks. After the 10 weeks, you can write an exam for the level you have studied, but you don't have to. You can also continue with the next level when your teacher writes a certificate which says, yeah, he or she is prepared and can go to the next level. But you can also get a proper certificate, which is recognized in the whole world. Okay, we have also courses in the evening for those of you who have even less time, but you need 20 weeks to complete one level, so it will take very long. Yes, and then I want you to talk about our examinations. You might have noticed that I couldn't join you for the whole time. The reason is that we are carrying out an A1 exam today. We are carrying out this exam 5 times a year. A lot of people are interested in getting certified. We are also carrying out the other exams for the other levels 5 times a year. Okay. So I think most of you have picked up this kind of brochure at the beginning, and here you can find all the prices and the exact dates of our courses and also of our exams. Yeah, you are free to see me or other staff of the language department every day from 8 to 5 if you have more questions. Okay, at the end I just want to let you know that we are carrying out also the test AS. You have heard about already. You can register with me for the exam. And we carry out also the test DAF, which is recognized by all universities in Germany if you want to study in German. That is what we do. Okay, that was all from my side for now. If you have questions, you can ask at the question and answer session later. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mrs. Asante. So in the middle, we were joined by Mrs. Ponsapio, who is also one of the PAP scholarship alumnus. Yes, she studied in Cologne, but she's currently working with the GIZ on a program for the Center for International Migration. So she's telling us a little bit about the Center for International Migration, what you do for experts who are completing their professional education in Germany. I think we'll be doing that, let's say, in the next 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. So we can continue with many more questions from this point. So I think.
Good morning. My name is Julius. I have the bachelor's of computer science, and I applied for a bachelor's. But that bachelor's was not in my field, but that's what I really liked. So when I went to the university, my visa was refused on grounds that I joined another degree when I already have one. And I spoke to them. I really wanted to do engineering, my first degree, but I didn't get that. So getting the opportunity in another university, that's what I wanted. And still my visa was refused for that and lack of insufficient financial proof. Yeah, so that was the 2 reasons why it was refused. And then I made an appeal for 2 months. I didn't get a response. I wrote to them and they keep sending me, it will be processed in 2 months. And when the 2 months has elapsed, I wrote to them again that the 2 months which you guys told me I would have it has elapsed, but I haven't heard from them. And as of now, I still haven't got any information from them. I even have my refusal letter right now in my hand. So sometimes I don't know, but since you are here, maybe I'll get more clarification because I want to go back to the university for that same admission again. Because the school says I'm still a student, so when the winter session comes, I can reapply. But I don't want to go back for the chancellor to still tell me why he's still coming for this degree again. So since you are here, I'll be very happy.
Okay, so even if even if your first visa application was refused, you always have the possibility to reapply. So you said that there were 2 reasons for the refusal. So the one regarding the financing could be really easy to solve depending on who's going to sponsor you. So that might already make a difference in your second visa application, that if you come with additional documents to show proof that you have sufficient funds this time with your application. Also not just for the first year, but also for the second, third, or fourth year, or however long your bachelor's degree is going to take. With regards to you doing the second bachelor's degree it might raise questions. So with your next application, use your motivational letter, use the interview to really explain on why you would like to do that. So be prepared for the interview. You should be able to answer the questions that the embassy staff are asking you, especially when it comes to, you already have one degree, why not do a master's instead? Why do you want to put those additional 3 to 4 years work in? So answer those questions, take time with your motivational letter, submit additional documents with regards to the funding, and then your second application might be granted. So it's always a case-by-case decision. Of course, the visa officer might look into your old application, but a new application is always treated as a new application. So if you meet the requirements now, the refusal will not be held against you. So get the new admission letter from the university, gather your documents, and then apply again.
Good morning. My name is Francis. My question is, if you have a B1 or B2 certificate, you're applying for a study visa, a student language visa, are you expected to write a motivational letter in German or English, or will it be better for you to write German or English? And then is it expedient for you to provide the health insurance, probably with 10% of any German health insurance during the visa interview, or it's better for you to wait when you're asked for it?
I mean, if your German is so good that you can write a perfect motivational letter, feel free to add that in German. Also, when the interview is done, you can also indicate to the person doing the interview that you're also comfortable in doing it in German, which will add immensely to your application. So yes, show off your skills. I mean, like I said, we only have the paperwork, so impress us. Yes, yes, please. The second question was insurance. Okay. You do not have to submit it right away with your application, but sometimes the language schools, they offer a whole package on including the insurance. So if you already have that document, submit it. Otherwise, the embassy would ask you before the visa issuance to provide proof that you would be covered for the entire language course. And I know that many students would like to do the language courses in Germany, as the Goethe Institute unfortunately cannot offer, especially the C1, etc., that might be needed to study in German at the German University.
Hello, good morning. My name is Joel. I wanted to know in relation to the language proficiency. If an institution is requiring, let's say, a B2 proficiency, and yet you come for the language lessons and you qualify to, let's say, a B1, is it going to still be applicable to the institution even though it's a lower grade than the B2 that they are requiring? That's the first question. Did you get it? Let's say an institution is requiring for a B2 proficiency in the German language, okay? And let's say you come for the language lesson classes, but yet you're able to reach the level of B1 proficiency. I'm asking if it's still going to be enough for the institution to accept the B1. You understand?
Yes, I understand your question.
And then also in relation to the DAD funding, if the institution, let's say, is taking up let's say a 200 euro tuition, is it still going to be possible for you to pay it if you're not getting a DAD funding, like a funding outside of DAD? That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Regarding your first question, maybe this is a good chance to let you to tell you something about how German system works. If it says B2, it says B2. If you have B1, it will not be enough. Quite usually, if you have a regulation in a German institution, this is the regulation. That will not be enough accepted. So in this case, I think you might have to process on to B2 to apply to that institution. I don't know which institution you're talking about, so maybe you should ask them directly, but in general, they have this requirement that you will have to go with. The second question was, so you're asking if there's funding for tuition fees only if you don't otherwise receive funding. Is that correct? No, not in general. I mean, the tuition fees that most German universities take, like you say, the 200 euros for a semester, if you compare it to actual tuition fees, it's not actual tuition fees. The 200 euros is more like they call it a semester fee. It includes the costs for a semester ticket, like a ticket that will take you on all public transport. It includes some kind of support that goes towards subsidized food, like at the canteens of the university, and the small amount of money that goes towards the organization of students, like students' organization within the university. This is not actually a tuition fee. It doesn't go towards the funding of the university itself. So it's more kind of something that is bundled up as a service for students. So no, there's no funding from the DAD side. In general, I think most of the DAD scholarships are full scholarships for a stay, for a degree, for research stay, or something like that. There's not really a lot of small scale grants that can be like added as a top up to other things. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning. Please, my question is to the second speaker. You made mention of the fact that, or when you have to go to Germany, you have to go to aliens and apply for a resident permit. Can you, with that permit, take a job on the side while studying, and then, if you get a degree, continue working in Germany? Thank you.
So, with your residence permit, you are allowed to work a certain amount of hours. It's not unlimited working time, as the idea is that you should study in Germany, but it allows you. It's laid out in the German Residence Act how many hours students are allowed to work. 120 days a year, not more, because the idea is you should study, but of course you can work maybe even in the university in a department that will also help you studying. Also, make a little bit more money towards your personal spending money that you might need, but you should study the main time. That's why it's restricted. Okay. And so once you've finished your degree in Germany, your residence permit can be extended for up to 18 months to then also go look for a job in your field in Germany. So they don't require you to finish your studies and then right away you find a job. So the Residence Act gives you 18 months to then go look for the job that matches your qualification.
I would like to know if applying for a degree in Germany with an HND, do you still have to do all the 6 semesters or 7 semesters, or there's a way you can shorten it up?
She's asking whether if you have an HND and you're applying for a bachelor's degree, it's usually 6 or 7 semesters, whether there's a way you can shorten it.
I think you can answer that question too.
Okay. So, yeah, generally with HND, you are allowed to apply to University of Applied Science 7 semesters. And there's no top up in Germany, you have to do the 7 semesters. So, but the good thing is that you don't have to start from, how do you call it, 1 year pre-university. You can just go straight to the bachelor's, which is 7 semesters, 3.5 semesters. The 3.5 years. The half year or the 7th semester is mainly for internship. So it's still a good way of studying. Yeah. So there's no way of shortening it. Just go straight to it.
Felix, whilst we're at it, I can also pose a question to you. I'm just switching roles here. From the Facebook live stream, please, how can someone with secondary technical certificates, intermediate certificate, without German language skills, get enrolled in German institutions to further his education?
This is no, we are talking more about studying in the university with a secondary technical certificate. It's a vocational certificate. It wouldn't be allowed as a requirement for a university. In Germany, they still do have the other sort of education or vocational training in Germany, but we don't advise too much on that because it's usually quite technical trying to enter vocational training, because in vocational training or sometimes dual education where you're studying and working at the same time, you need work permit and so many other things. So with us, we are advising more on studying in the higher educational institutions, universities. So that's a certificate you cannot go straight to. What we talk about, the bachelor's, master's, and so on.
Yes, I think we also answer the question on Facebook. Thank you, Felix.
Good morning. I'm John. My question has to do with short stay visas. Let's say one has to do a short stay visa, a short stay in Germany for more than 3 months. What visa category would this person please? And also, if it stays fully funded, one has to attach a bank statement to the visa application. Thank you.
So a short stay visa can only be for stays of up to 90 days within 180 days. So if you want to stay longer than 3 months, it's not a short stay visa anymore, it's a national visa that you will have to apply for. So there are two categories, it's the Schengen visa and it's the national visa. And national visas, you have to apply for any stay longer than 90 days. So if you maybe just go for a semester of studying to Germany and the semester is just 90 days, not more, or maybe 89, this would be a Schengen visa, which would also allow you to study, but if you go for 2 semesters, 3 semesters, this would always be the national visa.
Hello.
And you had, the second question was about the funding, right? So if your stay is fully funded by the DAAD, for example, you will get a certificate that you would add to your application to show that you have received the scholarship award. Yeah, so no bank statement from the DAAD.
Hello, my name is Evan, and we just want to find out if you've gone through the Great Institute in a different country, for example, a French country, is it relevant over here, which English and German is being considered? Thank you.
Yes, of course, it doesn't matter where you receive the certificate. It's relevant everywhere.
So if you did the German language exam here, you can also add that certificate to your application to show that you are very interested in studying in Germany. You even already learned some German to show that you are investing a lot to further your education in Germany. So we also have a look at those certificates to students who've already done something to prepare themselves for their stay in Germany.
If you still have questions, so we can have 2 more questions after 12, when we are ending. So, but we'd like to have Mr. Symposium to talk about the programs from the Center for International Migration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felix. Good morning once again, and welcome to the symposium. I must say, anytime that I'm in this building, I feel very nostalgic, because I had the same mission. I wanted to study in Germany, and I want to tell you that feed your focus, because it's the best destination you can have. Why do I say this? Aside the excellent education that you have in Germany, the exposure and experiences, trust me, we've made a holistic view, for a holistic approach for when you are done with studies. That is when we come in as well, the Center for International Migration and Development. What do we do at the center? Let's talk a bit more about that. The Center for International Migration and Development is a joint operation of the German Development Corporation and the German Federal Employment Agency in Germany. That is the ZFAL. And we've been in operation since 1980. And what we've been doing is taking charge of Competence Center as a competence center for global mobility. So as our objective, we intend to promote global migration for sustainable development. What do we mean by this? We try as much as possible to harness the potentials from migration for the development of countries of origin, especially. And when also you decide to stay in Germany after studies, we have something else for you that we'll talk about pretty soon. So, we are operational in partner countries. We are operational in 25 partner countries around the globe. And we have a sister program which is also operational in 11 countries, which I will highlight pretty soon. So what we do at the Center for International Migration and Development, we do the program Migration for Development, and the first part that we do, that is the field of intervention, is the development-oriented return. We believe that you fall in this category of development-oriented return. Why do I say this? Because when you leave the shores of Ghana to Germany for studies, and you are done with studies, it becomes really tough, a decision to come home or not to come home. Why do I say this? When reality beats you, that do I come home back to Ghana or do I stay in Germany? That is where I come in to tell you that you would love it if you come home back to Ghana, because that is where you find that normally the DAD supports development relevant courses that are more or less much needed here home to help reach the development agenda. Compared to Germany, Germany has already reached somewhere that we have to try and reach. However, when an option comes, then you have to be living a fulfilling life. You have to be updating or upgrading your professional careers. That is when you get the 1.8 months post-study visa that our colleague talked about here, then you have to find a job that is relevant to your study, your field of study or your field of profession. Then when you find this kind of job, we'll talk about that one as well. However, when you are done with studies and you don't want to come to Ghana to work for any organization, you want to come and set up your own business, we believe that that is the way that we can contribute our quota to the sustainable development, economic, socio-economic aspects of our sustainable development. We have an offer for you which will be highlighted pretty soon. And at the center, we do also migration policy advice and also individual migration advice that is going to Germany the regular way. So we'll highlight each one of them. How do you qualify for the development-oriented intervention? When you are a citizen of Ghana or you have migration background to Ghana, most of us leave Ghana as Ghanaians, but when we are done with our studies, we turn Germans. That is, we hold German passports. We have offer for you if you want to come back home to contribute to development. Let's say how. If you have completed your education in Germany, ideally 2 years professional education in Germany, you qualify for our center benefit. That is the product that we're coming to talk about. And if you are currently resident in Germany, but you have migration background to Ghana, that means you don't hold a German passport, but you hold a Ghanaian passport, but you are permanent resident in Germany. We have an offer for you as well. Then if you wish to return to any of our partner countries, let me highlight our partner countries back here. Pardon me to go back. We are in Albania, Cameroon, Colombia, Ecuador, Ethiopia, Georgia, Ghana, India, Indonesia, Jordan, Kenya, Kosovo, Morocco, Nepal, Nigeria, Palestinian territories, and also we are in Peru, Senegal, Serbia, Tunisia, Ukraine, and Vietnam. So any of these countries, when you are done as a Ghanaian or any citizen of these countries, it doesn't have to be that you have to return to just Ghana to benefit from the products I'll be talking about. So a Ghanaian can return to Kenya to work in a development relevant sector and still benefit from these offers because you are a Ghanaian moved to another partner countries. Then we go back to the returning express program. Why do we call it the returning express program? We believe that when you go to Germany and you return with some form of expertise. So we call it the long-term return because you decided to go to Germany to study, like I did. I went to the DAD, country DAD, and I'm back to Ghana, and I'm back long-term, working in Ghana. So this is the project that we're going to talk about. Anytime that you decide after studies in Germany, that is when you feel your focus, you get to Germany, you are done with your studies, and you decide that you want to come back to Ghana. That is where you have to start looking for our contacts, and you call us. We have a website that you register that you are interested in coming to Ghana, long term, in this case, in this project. And when you inform us of that intention, we are able to take you through the stages of applying for the SIM Returning Experts program. And when you come to Ghana, and if you were not on any scholarship, any third party paying for your flight, we even go ahead to take care of you from the time that you want to come to Ghana, your flights, your transport costs, till you are home in Ghana. And when you are home in Ghana, we don't leave you alone. We also help you, we do placement services. That is, if you are in Germany and you say, okay, I want to come to Ghana, but I'm not finding a job. You just inform us that, okay, I have intentions of coming to Ghana, but I'm not finding a job in Ghana. So what can you do to help me in this regard? We help with placement services. We are linked to local placement actors in the development circles who are able to help take our returning experts. Why? Because they believe in the German quality, and two, they know that if you're coming from Germany, you have something good, they will want to hear from you. So just tell us, we approach these local employment actors, and we give your CVs per your permission to them, and you may be employed. We've been securing very development relevant jobs. We have our returning experts in very key roles in the various sectors of development here in Ghana. So you just inform us in advance and we work at it together. It's very situational based, depending on your qualifications. Then, what do we do? Our main aim or our main business at the center is brain gain. We believe that you are brains out there and you should bring these brains back home to help development. So we are in the brain gain business. So what we do is knowledge transfer and or exchange. So if you have a form of, you've gathered some knowledge and experiences in Germany and you want to bring it back home. So when you are back home, within a year, we have a year, if you find a development relevant job, then you qualify for our salary top-up. So not only are we bringing you home comfortably, not only are we placing you with a development relevant job, but also we top up your salary. For you deciding to bring your know-how home, we think it's great, we think it's inspirational. So you should have an incentive for that. That is where every month your salary that you are receiving will be topped up by the center. Yes, we top up your salary for a period of 2 years. Why do we do this? Because we believe that you've lived in a certain kind of way in Germany, and when you return back home, you would need some adjustment or cushioning to be able to leave or reintegrate better. So it's just to help your reintegration process. Yeah? Because I remember when I returned, I was in Germany with my daughter, and when I returned, when she finishes eating, she just asked, "Mommy, zapped." And I said, "Hey, we are back home in Ghana. You drink water after food, you try so to our returners and be able to continually live the kind of life that was being lived in Germany to some extent. So by 2 years, when the salary top-up is no more there, you are able to cope. So it's just a reintegration support. Yes. Then what we do again with the long-term return, we offer advice, we offer information, we do job placement, as I said, we do networking, and we do support. So we have a network of persons, and we believe very much in the power of networking. We have a big network that we can add you to if you register with us. And in this network, you can share ideas, you can share experiences, and it can be really, really beneficial to you. What are our target groups? Our target groups are the qualified university graduates and experienced professionals living in Germany who have intentions to return home, in our case, Ghana, or to any of the partner countries mentioned to work in development in the development circles. So, as already said, we do a workplace salary top-up, and we also don't leave you there. We do a workplace equipment support. So, if you were using a certain kind of equipment at your place of work in Germany, and you come to Ghana, you don't went there, you're able to tell us that, okay, I need this equipment support in order to help my knowledge sharing intent or knowledge exchange intent. And we are able to provide that to a maximum of 10,000 euros when you return. Then we do other small subsidies for further training and seminars. If you have a paper, if you are a researcher and you have a paper to present in any part of the world, from Bolgatanga to Hawaii, tell us if it's development relevant and will help your professional career, we'll support you as well. Just because you decided to bring your know-how home. We also do internships in home countries. So when you're in Germany and you have time in your study schedules and you want to return home to do an internship between 3 months and 6 months, just call on us. We'll support you from your flight to your internship package that will bring you to Ghana to do internship between the periods of 3 months and 6 months, also in development relevant areas. So these are the packages that we have for the long-term experts. As you can see here, we have some of our experts who have returned and are taking in these benefits that have been highlighted. Then the second project or intervention that we do is what we call the diaspora experts. That is when you are done with studying in Germany and you are not ready to return home to Ghana. We don't leave you like that as the long-term expert. We bring to you the package that we call the short-term expert. The short-term expert is, for instance, if you are a medical doctor in Rostock, you are done with school and you want to stay in Rostock and continue practicing. We don't say compulsory campus. You are contributing in your field of action. However, we encourage you to bring a form of know-how in your area of profession, the German way, to Ghana. How do we do this? We identify your contribution, the kind of know-how that you want to bring to Ghana, and support you from your flight to your allowances, to your insurances, to come home and give off a know-how between the periods of 3 weeks to 6 months in Ghana and return back to your workplace in Germany. Yes, that is 3 weeks to 6 months within a year. So most of the time you realize that most of those who are in professional areas in Germany are working and cannot get the 6 month period. However, most of them also use the 3 weeks vacation or the 4 weeks vacation that they are entitled to come home to Ghana to contribute a certain know-how in their field of work. And we support this as well. Then we realized that as a case study, most of these short-term experts who really return home decide to stay back home. They just go pack their things and say, oh, I can contribute or impact better here than I'm impacting in Germany. And it's real because most of the time we realize that there are many of these experts in Germany than are in Ghana. So they come and they say, oh, after all, I contribute better here than in Germany, so I want to stay. And we've had cases like this gentleman who was in Ethiopia, went to practice short-term and packed his things back home. So we have another one where we also harness the potentials of migrant organizations in Germany. What do I mean by migrant organizations in Germany? When you go to Germany, try as much as possible to socialize. Try as much as possible to find Ghanaians living in your area. Why do I say this? It is only through these means that you are able to build up networks that you help the contribution back home. This intervention goes for permanent residents in Germany of Ghanaian origin. They still can identify a development-relevant project home in Ghana, and through our support, come and carry out these relevant projects in Ghana. What do I mean? For instance, if you realize that irregular migration is so much in your village, where you come from, and you live in Germany regularly, and you see that most of the youth are going through the dangerous routes of migration because they are not finding means of, perspectives. Then you want to come and say, do a fish pond for the community. You've thought of it, it's an idea. Your group, call it a verein because it is a non-for-profit venture. So your group in Germany, for instance, your association says, oh no, we've realized this, we want to go and do this for our town. And we need support. We do such small grant projects as well by providing support for you living in the diaspora Germany to be home here virtually carrying out such projects. Why do I say virtually? Because you don't have to be present here for the project to be carried. So we march you to partner organizations who are able to carry out such project ideas of development relevance. So when you know of such associations, you join them, and through such associations, we can carry out development relevant projects back home. And since this intervention started in 2011, we've supported 100 small-scale projects in countries of origin around the globe where we are operational. Then we have the business ideas for development. That is where you are done with school. You don't want to return to Ghana to work for anybody. You want to come and start your own business. Again, you come to us, we have a support for you. We provide a startup support, financial and non-financial. Financial is some amount of money that you would get, that is 5,000 euros plus a 2,500 euros exploration support to come home to test the feasibility of your business idea. So if you want to start, we don't give seed money. What we give is a startup support to keep you start the business idea that you dream of. So this should not necessarily be related to your area of study. You may have studied civil engineering, but you may come to do fish farming if that is your business idea. And we support you with non-financial, that is linking you to the entrepreneurship ecosystem here in Ghana, the key actors. You know, it can be difficult to try when you want to start up small. But we have these anchors in place to support you. So when you want to come to Ghana to our sister program, our colleagues will advise you and refer you to our colleagues here as well to get the right means to get to Germany, so that we minimize the menace of irregular migration, especially to Germany. Thank you for your attention and ready for questions if there are.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I realized it was already 12 and I planned to stop, but I was enjoying it. Maybe I also apply for a program with this. We can have 3 more questions, and then in the end, our guests are here for some time, so you can network and ask the other person. So we have a chance for 3 more general questions.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Fong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's about the scholarship. I learned that some of the full scholarship, right after completion, you have to come back to the country. I want to know if there are instances where you get employment in Germany or in any other country, you can still go there and do your work.
Thank you for the question. No, that's actually not quite true. Always be careful with rumors. For the DAD scholarship, we have from our side, there's no regulation, no rule for you having to go back to your home country. And so in general, just the same thing applies that Yasima said earlier. So you do have, like, your visa allows you to stay up to 18 months in the year in the country to find a job. The only exception to this would be the co-funded PhD program, the one that is co-funded by the Ghanaian government. They have made it a rule in that program that the scholarship holders funded through that program have to return to the home country after the program ends. Yes, but in general, the DAD doesn't have a regulation like that.
Right, good afternoon. Global. I wanted to ask personally with regards to the by supervised PhD training. I wanted to know whether the person is supposed to be in public institutions or private.
So you're asking about this also about the co-funded PhD program, right? Felix is key to answer that question.
So it's about studying and doing part of the PhD work in Canada and part in China. Once there's a state-recognized institution, this one is where you can make it could be private or public, state recognized.
Yes, Daniel. This is about visa application. Considering is it language visa? What are the requirements for language visa? And secondly, when we talk of sponsorship, what category of persons can sponsor the students for bachelor education?
Well, I can't go into details of the requirements of the language course, but we have also a checklist specifically for language course visas. So the question would be, why do you want to do the language course? Do you want to do the language course to then study in Germany, or is it one because you're just interested, or maybe you want to work in Germany? Because there are 2 different regulations with regards to language courses. If it is one, if it's a language course that you want to do so you can study in Germany, for example, if you want to study medicine, and the Goethe Institute does not offer the level that you might need to qualify for this admission. The regulations are a little bit different than if you just want to go to Germany to do a language course because you just want to do a language course. So the requirements are similar to the student visa application if it's a language course that is with the goal to study. So we would also want to see why you want to study in Germany. Do you already have a certain level of German that you acquired here in Ghana, and now you just want to do the top up so you can get that admission to that university? So it's very closely linked to a student visa application, because with that visa, you can then also extend your stay if you then gain admission into Germany. With regards to the funding, pretty much anybody can be a sponsor, but of course, from our perspective, it should be logic. I mean, if you as the father of someone want to sponsor your son or your daughter, it makes sense. If you are the fifth cousin of your third uncle, we might ask you, why is this person sponsoring you? Because it is a lot of money. Why would that person do that? We also had employers in the past saying, we want to sponsor that person because we need an expert in that field. He or she cannot get this qualification here in Ghana. He or she's going to return, so we will have something from that. So for us, it's mainly about making sense, because 8,640 euros is a lot of money just for 1 year. So what is driving you to be a sponsor of that person?
There was a second part of the question. I think it's answered. Yeah. Maybe I will just close with another question about visa. I have somebody asking visa for seeking job seekers visa. Maybe just a few words about the job seekers visa is possible.
So job seekers visa is possible, but you will have to have an academic qualification. So your bachelor's degree, for example, has to be recognized in Germany. The database that they now talking about, Anabin, would be your first go-to to find out whether or not your bachelor's or master's degree can be recognized in Germany. But if it is recognized in Germany, then you can apply for a job seekers visa, which would mean that you have a 6 month time period to go look for adequate job opportunities. But if you submit this application, the visa officers would also then again check whether or not this purpose states that you go for this type of job seeking. Have you gathered information already? Do you know where do you want to go? Do you maybe already have job interviews that you want to participate in? And very important with the job seekers visa, you will also have to show proof that you are able to finance your stay in Germany, because if you're not allowed to work, so that was just added in December. So now there are all kinds of different checklists that were just recently added, also with regard to employment, highly qualified.
We would have printed maybe requirements for our master scholarships and all these requirements for student visas, all these things about job seekers visas, but it's all available on our internet. So the German embassy's website is accra.edu.de, and the DAE website is daa-ghana.org. The Goethe Institute is goethe.de/Ghana. We have all the information there. The SIM website is simonline.de. Simonline, CIM All the information is available. We want to be very kind to our environment by not printing too many papers. And so make use of all the information if you like to. If you like to book for an appointment with us to further discuss your questions, you are allowed to. And our panel here are going to be here for the next 15 minutes. Maybe if you want to network and maybe find out some other personal things, you're also allowed to. So we have Mrs. Alphonsapio from GIZ, also a former scholarship holder, so maybe you might have something to tell you about how she applied and got it. And Mrs. Ivan Santi from the Goethe Institute, the head of language department, will tell you more. Since now we have a good thing about writing the test pass, you can also discuss those options with her. And then Mrs. Yasime Botenkamp, yeah, and then my director, Mrs. Lina Loyman, they're all here. So for the next 15 minutes, you're allowed to network. And thank you once again for coming. I hope you have all your questions answered. Thanks.